Up, guys? How's it going? Sweet. All right, shit. I probably should have done all this first. So, yes, I want to use that as an audio input. Thank you, computer. This thing's so nice to me. Okay, so you can already tell, and I'm probably gonna say this again in a second. If I can get this damn thing plugged in. Why is this not working? Oh, there we go. All right, you're probably gonna hear me say this again as soon as I get the audio live here. My voice is gone, man. All right, check two. Hey, check two. All right, going live on the audio in 3, 2. Hola, how's it going? How are you? Good. That's really good to hear. Seriously, it really is. Not, no sarcasm here. There may be a little because I can't hear you. There's that. So I look like a crazy person right now. If you are seeing the YouTube thing, you know this. But anywho, so I'm gonna preface all of this by saying that it always rains for bike week. It always rains on bike week. Always. Never fails. Always rains on a bike week. And yeah, just remember that. Keep that in mind. So, also another thing I'm going to say too, if the video feed drops at all, which I have a problem with it doing that sometimes. I had and I'll have a few watchers and it'll drop. But if the video feed does drop, then give me less than a minute and just go back to my YouTube channel and I'll be back on because yeah, just yeah, do that. So my brain's all fuzzy because of just got done with a very, very, very long weekend, and hopefully this episode doesn't run too long because there's a lot that happened and I'm gonna be covering. But so yeah, all right. I'm just gonna start off by talking about the weekend. First off, we played this place called Boardwalk Billy's. And Boardwalk Billy's is a great gig. I love doing it, and we had a good time there. Me and Adam went up a little early to square the condo away we were staying in, and Smitty met us at Boardwalk Billy's after we had already went and got the room settled. Actually, maybe Smitty went by the room. It doesn't matter. This is doesn't matter. And I'm probably going to be mumbling a lot and saying a lot of random things, so please forgive me for that because my brain is literally mush right now. So don't judge me. And I'm hoarse AF. My voice is gone, man. I don't know if you can tell. But anyway, we did our gig at Boardwalk Billy's and we got done. We had some sushi and the boxes of sushi. We stopped by Walmart after. Okay, I have to back up a minute. We stopped by Walmart after Boardwalk Billy's, and we went into Walmart and we had no list. We just walked. We knew what we wanted to get. We had to have breakfast stuff, and we knew we were going to be eating dinner out at places, so we didn't have to really worry about dinner foods. We knew we needed breakfast. We knew we needed water, and I forgot my belt, and I forgot soap. So there was a few things I needed. So we went into Walmart, no list, and we got all the breakfast stuff and we walked up and down the aisles and we were like, oh, we need this, and got everything that we needed. So we thought. And then we ended up getting out. We get out to the car, we pack everything in, and there's so much shit in my car. Like the entire system. There's just a lot of stuff in my car. And we were carefully packing all the stuff in there together so that we didn't break the eggs and whatnot. And we go to pull off and Adam's like, shit, we forgot water. And I'm like, oh man, we did forget water. That's a bummer. Like that's a very important thing. Like that's the main deal. Like we're gonna need water like immediately. We're not gonna need eggs till the morning. But anyway, so I was like, all right, fuck. I'll go back in and I'll get the water. So I went and I got the water. Came back out. Had to find somewhere to fit this giant case of water, which was a treat or a task. Treat. See, my brain's like just shifting out words with other ones that kind of work. It was a task in itself, and ended up getting back. Ended up getting back to the room, and I left my bathroom bag down in my trunk. And as I was going down to get the bathroom bag, I was like, man, I forgot to get fucking soap. So I went and I got my bag, and then as I was about to walk back upstairs, I was like, you know what? We're right here at Walmart. The place we were staying at was right behind Walmart, so it wasn't that big of a deal. Went back to Walmart, got the soap, and got a belt, and just being in that area. Like I used to work in that area. I used to live up in a Little River, and I used to work the. Oh, by the way, all shit. I didn't tell you where we were. We went up to North Myrtle Beach. It was in Little River, and we were staying in North Myrtle Beach. And um, I lived up in Little River for a little bit, and I worked for beach services in the city for the city of North Myrtle Beach for a few years, and just getting to ride around up there and looking at all the places that I used to like drive past every day multiple times. It just everything looks different now, and where there were once woods, there are now condos, and it's I don't know, it's done up a lot differently than it was last time I saw it, and I don't know, it was just everything looks different, and that's I don't know, that's I don't know, it's just a weird thing to me is that point of getting to the age where you watch the world around you change. Like as a kid, you never think about shit like that, but it certainly happens when you get older. So I'm going to hold the place right there in that story and go back just a little bit. So when me and Adam left Walmart the first time and made it back to the condo, we were trying to make everything to get everything upstairs in one trip because when we first pulled up, there were two sets of stairs on our condo. So we pulled in, and I parked closer to one set of stairs than the other, but our room ended up being closer to the other set of stairs. So we we walked up the set of stairs that were closer to our room, and we're like, all right, cool. Got up there, and we were on the top floor of our complex, and so we get to the top floor of our complex, which is only 4 stories. It wasn't too awful. Get to the top, and both me and Adam are, and I mean I'm bigger than Adam. Both of us are just give the f out. We are just fucking tired, and we're just like, oh man, this is gonna be tough when after 3 or 4 days or after 3 days of this. So we got into the room. We had to make a couple trips back and forth, and we made a frozen pizza, and I played Clash of Clans and went to bed. But while we were carrying all this shit up the stairs, trying to make it all in one go, Adam is like, and I've told him several times, man, and him and Smitty both know that I'm a very difficult person to be around sometimes, and I like things done a particular way. And if anybody in my family knows, or anybody in my family is the same way because they grew up with the same group of people that I did, and it's totally understandable if you knew who my granddad was, but I'm not making excuses or hiding behind jeans right now. Well, I'm kind of hiding behind jeans, not those jeans, silly. See him off my rocker today. Recycle your plastics. I threw away so many plastic bottles this weekend. Anyway, so while and they'll always say, Adam and Smitty, I mean, will always say that I'll find some way to bitch about something. But he's just like lumbering up the steps, and like he's got the sushi and the eggs and everything. And I'm like, man, you realize you're carrying precious cargo, man. Just be careful a little bit. And we get anyway, we get all this stuff up there, and we go to open our sushi. Now we're back to the sushi. I'm sorry, I know the story is bouncing around. I apologize for that, but we open up a box of sushi, and there's just nothing's where it's supposed to be. Everything's all, you know, when you get a to-go sushi and everything's just like all perfect and everything. Well, this looks like sushi that had kids come over for a couple hours unchaperoned, and it was and Adam had apparently poured a little soy sauce on the sushi beforehand, and somehow in transit, the wasabi chunk of wasabi got mixed in with all that soy sauce and into the sushi, and I didn't notice that, and I hate wasabi. So I took a giant bite of a sushi roll, and it was a giant mouthful of wasabi, and I was aggravated about that. But that's not what we're here to talk about. We're not here to talk about sushi. I was upset about that, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, the next morning, which to me was around 11:30, I got up and showered, made biscuits and gravy. Adam had already been up a few hours and made bacon, so there's that. We both started looking at the radar. Now, remember that I said it always rains for bike week? Well, it does, and it did. And then the weather started getting worse and worse. So Smitty calls. He's on his way to where we are. And it's pouring ass rain here on the south end. Excuse me. And we start wondering whether or not we're going to be able to load in. Now, side note, my folks bought me this really sweet Bose PA system that is just really awesome, and it's pristine. We've never had it out in any sort of bad weather. Excuse me. So I start like worrying about taking it out of the car. I don't want to risk getting this thing wet and it not work and we not be able to do what we got to do. So I start freaking out about that and just start worrying about that. So finally we pull into the festival, which is usually a nightmare to get into, but this time it wasn't so bad. But we pulled in, and everything's going okay at this point, and I'm still very worried about the system. I just really don't want the system to get wet, and I'm very worried about that. So we get out, and me and him carry a couple things up to the door of the pilot house and that's probably, I don't know, 150 to maybe 200 yards, if that. Actually, no, it's probably more like 120. Maybe. Either way, we've got to maneuver through a lot of people, and we carry a few things in there, and it's kind of hard to maneuver through the people when you got a handful of equipment and guitars and speakers and whatnot. So drop a couple things off in there, and it's pouring rain. So within a minute of arriving, I am soaked, and I mean bad soaked. And I'm wearing jeans, and like, obviously, because I don't know if it's just a dude thing or if all people do this, but my jeans are a lot longer than they need to be, I guess. So I'm walking with fucking just feels like mud flops on, and I got just water all the way like 5 to 6 inches up my jeans, and it's just starting to get miserable. So we get there, and we sit our guitars where we're supposed to play, and there's this giant puddle of water like right where we set up, and that freaks me out. So I start to panic. And it gets much worse from there. We get back to the car, and there's just so much equipment and I'm thinking, should we call Scott? Uh, or Scott being our agent, like, should we call Scott and find out if we should get the system out right now? And uh, should we even worry with it? And uh, I still think about that puddle of water again, right where we're supposed to set up, and that just starts freaking me out. So I literally just start to panic, and I don't have like when I used to drink. When I drank, I would have a panic attack like every night, and I'd have to convince myself that I wasn't dying and I'm not having a heart attack. I'm just freaking out. And even a long time after I quit drinking, I would still have a panic attack like every night. Like I would wake up in the middle of the night and have to like sit up in my bed and convince myself that I can breathe and that I'm not, my heart's not gonna explode. I'm not dying. And you just, if you've never had a panic attack before, it's really hard to, I don't know. It sounds like bullshit if you've never had a panic attack before. If to someone who's never had one, it's just like, oh, well, it just sounds like you're just being a bitch. And in a way, it kind of is, but there's just a lot of random shit that goes on in your head that triggers this complete meltdown. And I'm just, at this point, I'm looking at my car and all the equipment in it that we have to lug through all of these people, and oh, and by the way, the road that we have to maneuver through all these people in has a river running down the middle of it, and I'm not exaggerating. Like this, there's like just a steady stream of water that's probably, I don't know, 6 inches deep, just running down, like a 6 inch deep, foot and a half wide river running down the middle of the road. And I'm just, I mean, I'm literally beside myself the entire time. And they're asking me, what are we going to do? Are we going to call Scott? Or, I mean, do we get the stuff out? It's raining. Adam had somehow come across an umbrella from somebody there. And Smitty was about to get his stuff out, but he's got a drum too. He doesn't want to get any of his equipment wet. We're all in the same boat here. And so I'm just was in a point where I had to make a lot of decisions like right then, and I was in no mental shape to do that because I was having a meltdown, and I don't know what it was about. And before I go any further in that story, now I'm thinking maybe it was because that was one of the gigs that I used to drink my most at. Like when you go in there, I'm sorry, I'm coughing so much. I'm really hoarse. This gig took a lot out of me. Or this weekend rather. But I when you go up to a normal place like here in the inlet, we got this, we split shots in the inlet. And by that I mean like you can get, if you got 8 people you want to buy shots for, you can get 4 shots split 8 ways. I know that because this is a Merle's Inlet based podcast that most people here know that, but otherwise most people might not. So when you go to the pilot house, they give you like almost every shot is almost a double. Just about every shot is a double. Like they hook you up when it comes to the liquor up in that building. So that was one of my favorite gigs because of that, because I love to drink. And maybe it was because all of that, like driving up in and like the memories of being like, oh shit, I used to drink so much on this weekend. Maybe that was part of it. So anyway, I just, after I realized I couldn't make any of these decisions and I was just freaking out and I didn't want to do anything, I was like, I just wanted to hurt something or hit somebody or whatever. It didn't matter. I just wanted to, I was flipping out and I wanted to inflict pain that I was feeling on somebody else or something else. And thank God I'm a little bit smarter than that, because and right before all this, sorry guys, I'm losing my control of my voice. But as soon as I was like piled upon all of these, I had all these decisions and weird things in my head piled up on my brain, it started raining harder. And that just I lost I don't know, I lost all who I was and what I was about, and just, I don't know, I was just really, that's what a panic attack is like, right? That explanation just confusing, and it doesn't really make a lot of sense, but it's weird, and you don't understand what's going on, but it sucks, and you think you're gonna die, and you just want to hurt something, and your heart's gonna explode, and it really feels like that. And I never had any experiences with these things until, I don't know, the last maybe 3 or 4, maybe 5 years of my life, and it's just like a feeling that everything is wrong and it will never be right again. And that's what it literally feels like. If you ever watch Harry Potter, it's like a Dementor attack. I know I just got really nerdy, but that's fine because the flesh finally reveals the madness within. That's Sirius Black. Actually, that was Lupin who said that. See, I'm such a nerd. Doesn't matter. We're getting off subject. All right. So in the middle of this panic attack that I'm having, Adam says, I've got this umbrella. How about we load everything on the cart and I'll just hold the umbrella over it, and we'll just lug through all these people. So that's what we did. We piled everything on the cart, and Adam's holding this umbrella that's only covering like half of the equipment. So we got the important stuff to where it's not getting wet. We start pushing all through this stuff, and then we're trying to stay on the side, and like everybody sort of got traffic going. Now we can't cross this little river because I'll be damned if I'm gonna put the cart to where I can splash water all up on the shit. Because like I said, like it was a gift from my folks after I told them I didn't want anything for Christmas, and they got me a system for Thanksgiving. See, they got me on a technicality, which I can't argue with, and I'm very appreciative of it. But that's a whole nother podcast, that gift giving thing. We'll cover that one day. Gift giving is kind of weird. If I see somebody they might like something, I'll get it for them. I don't need a special time of year to do that. But anyway, beside the point. We're lugging this equipment down the street. Adam's holding this giant umbrella over it. And I'm just on a mission. I'm like almost like not running, but I'm definitely not walking. Like, I mean, I'm getting there with this cart. So we get right up to the building where we need to go, and there is just a group of people standing right in the way of where I need the cart to go. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go around them, and I start to go around them, and then the speaker, the bass unit of this Bose system, starts to slide off of the edge of the cart and like right towards that river. So my heart immediately explodes, and I am about to die, but somehow I catch it and recover, pull it back around, and get it to where the ground's not so wet, and slide it back onto the cart. I didn't lose anything. Nothing got any wetter than the like I did. Which actually it was yeah, we were all soaked, and it was just miserable. And like I said, I recovered it, kept it on the cart, got it in the building, and then I started trying to figure out the floor situation because the floor was soaked. There was a lot of foot traffic coming in through to sort of paint this picture for you. The room has giant doors that open up on two sides of the walls, like pretty much people can walk through one side of the building to the other, and it's all open, and it's almost like half of the room is completely open. So all this foot traffic has just made puddles of water right here where we set up, and I'll be damned if I'm gonna set this brand new pristine Bose system on a wet floor, because that's just, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna do that. So anyway, after I realized that, oh, that was it, my whole life flashed before my eyes, that was it for the Bose. Now I got to figure this out. So Rich, who is the owner's husband, boyfriend, love interest, however you want to paint this picture, Rich has been there since day one. Great guy. He's always the dude that helps us out anytime we get there. He's always willing to help in any way that he can. He witnessed this entire meltdown of mine, and I'm standing there just staring down at this wet floor, not knowing what to do. And he's like, I've never seen you like that. And I didn't know what to do. And I was trying to talk through it, and I was trying to explain, because that's what I do. I was trying to explain what was going on, but I was obviously not succeeding in any way, shape, or form, because your brain doesn't work right whenever you're in the middle of a panic attack. So I'm like, I'm having to stand here and stand still for like 10 minutes just to calm down enough to set up. So finally, and after Rich helped, like he got us some cardboard boxes to lay down and soak up some of that water, and gave us tablecloth so we could set the base unit down on it. And we eventually decided that we were just going to slide the cart in the corner, and obviously it's off the ground, and we just set our system up right on top of the cart, and that ended up working out well. And he was just a really good dude for that situation. And I told him several times how much I appreciated him understanding that I was just not, and I didn't act out like I didn't say anything, and I didn't flip out on anybody around me, because I've been, as I've said lately, making a conscious effort to not do that. And I ended up, everything was fine, and I started calming down a little bit after we got the cart, or got the system set up on the cart, and I realized that I wasn't gonna have to worry, and everything worked fine, and I sort of calmed down a lot more after that. So here's a crazy thing that happened. Adam and Smitty were taking a shot of Jameson, and I know that because I stuck my finger in one of the shot cups and just all around the inside of my mouth, got all of the liquor that was on my finger off of it. And that is not taking a shot, but I was flipping out, and I saw that, and that's the first thing that I thought to do. But what's really I'm really proud of is that I was not in my right mind at that situation, at that particular moment. And when I saw a shot cup, my initial reaction was to dip my finger in it and just lick my finger, rather than take the shot and pound an entire shot, which I'm really stoked about that. And that's the closest thing that I've done to drinking since I quit. And literally after that, I leveled out, and I mean, we did the gig, and it was actually, it was a good gig. It was a great gig. We always do very well there. The people are very happy to have us there, and that's literally my favorite gig of the year. Anytime I get to play that room, that is my favorite room to play. And I say this many times. We did on the Cornbread podcast when we were doing that. I said it many times, and even on this one, I'm sure I've said it before. But after we got done with that gig, we went to our buddy Drake's house. And Drake is the guy who always tips me in vinyl. He is the coolest dude. He's one of the coolest dudes I've ever met. He always brings a record. He always brings a really obscure or rare vinyl to tip me with. And this time, he brought me a 1988 or 1980 something. I'm looking at it right now. I want to go grab it and show it to you, but I'm not going to do that. But he brought me this really awesome Pink Floyd bootleg live album from 1980 something. And it's literally just like all the hits. It's got Shine On. I'm not going down the Pink Floyd stuff because I know you guys aren't as into it as I am. But if you are, please contact me. I'd love to talk to you about it. But anyway, we stopped at Drake's house for a little bit. He and his brother made some Cornish hens and all kinds of really awesome food that I never eat. And it seemed like, I don't know, like I walk in and it's like the set of a cooking show and all of this stuff that's sitting around, and it's pretty awesome. But we have a tradition every time after we finish our first gig, the Saturday gig at Pilot House, we always go to Casa Villa, Casa Villa, however you want to say it. We're in America, doesn't matter, I don't think. That sounded weird. Sorry, didn't mean that. Casa Villa, Casa Villa. We have a little appetizer at Drake's because it would be rude, and plus we're all giants basically. And then we go to Casa Villa. So Smitty, every year we go to Casa Villa, he gets for some reason or somehow he ends up getting a giant ass margarita, and he drinks like none of it. So he goes to order a margarita, and she's like, if you want to get the 64 ounce, there's the giant fishbowl, like a basic, you know what a fishbowl margarita is. We've all seen it. So he's like, yeah, why don't we do that? Before he gets to put his order in, I was like, wait a second. You remember the last time we were here, you ordered a giant ass margarita and didn't even drink half of it. Not even a quarter of it. And I'm not exaggerating. He didn't even drink a quarter of it. So he's all like, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. All right, fine. Orders a margarita. Maybe takes, I don't know, say that there was this much off the top of it. Now, granted, a fish bowl is pretty big, but like say there was maybe this much, and by this much I mean there was maybe an inch in the difference of the beginning to the end of this drink. And anyway, that we started talking about it. We kind of argued for a minute and had a few words. Well, but that's normal. We fight all the time. We're very good at it. And after we get back to the room, and I'm like, sorry man, love you to death. Don't I was hangry, and you just pushed a button or something. I don't know. But we were all fine, and we ended up staying up talking about the meaning of life for I don't know, the rest of the time we were awake, which we're probably going to do again next episode we do together. This guy named Richard Squires, who I've shouted out a couple times on here, is going to be interviewing me and Smitty on this podcast, and that's going to be coming up soon. We waited till we got done with Bike Week to start even trying to think of when that would be, because Bike Week is just too much. It's too much to schedule all in 1 week. So there's that. But that's going to be coming up soon. So that was all of Saturday. Today's gig was so much better. It was so good. Now, I really hate popping strings. I'm very, it's something that weighs on my mind a lot. Like I pop a lot of strings in the summertime because I play hard, and I can't, I mean, I don't know. I've tried, and I don't know what to do. I can't help it. But so I changed out the strings that I hadn't changed out yesterday, of the ones that I'd popped. And I put the rest of that set that I was stealing singles from on the guitar. I know this probably doesn't make any sense to you, but don't worry, it's not lasting long. And got done with that in time enough to be able to walk across the street and check out my buddy Michael Boney, who is from Bennettsville, South Carolina, who grew up a mile away from where I grew up. And our grandparents, well, his uncle and my granddad and all of his folks, they all played music together, and we basically are cut from a very similar cloth. So got to go across the street and check him out, and he's doing a great job. He was doing a solo gig at Buzz's Roost right across from where we were at Pilot House, and that was awesome. He's doing a fantastic job, and I'm very proud of him. And I hope he continues to do that. But we get back and start our gig, and I just keep popping strings, left and right, popping strings. And then I turn around and by the way, this is a festival. Obviously, there's a lot of food vendors, and there's a lot of Cajun foods and stuff. So like, the one that's right next to us, like every now and again we'll get a breeze that'll blow through the building. Like I said, the building is sort of open, like a breeze can blow through the building, and it just catches all of the steam from all these spices and shit that they're cooking with. and I'll just take a big inhale of all these Cajun spices, and it like gets stuck in your throat, and you start coughing, and you're trying to sing and do this, and I was inhaling all this stuff, but I inevitably lost my voice. Obviously, my singing voice, my speaking voice is somewhat still intact, but I'm gonna need to try to not speak at all tomorrow, outside of trivia maybe. But anyway, we after I just kept popping strings, and we took a couple of breaks, random, and I usually like to try to play through, because if I take a break, I'll lose momentum. And I like to try to, like I said, I like to try to play through, but kept popping strings, so I'd have to take a break, and we'd go and get to talk to people that I don't get to see a lot, and had some really good conversations with a lot of really cool people, and like I said, a lot of folks I rarely get to see. And we get back on and do our last set, and it was like a good 30 or 45 minute set. And we had like, and we like to do requests. We like to feel out the crowd and see what they want to hear, and play what they want to hear. So we had a lot of requests that were backed up, and we were running out of time to fill them all. So I was like, man, we're gonna have to cut some of these out. But then I was like, we started a little late, so it might not be a bad idea if we could play a little over. And so we have this awesome jam that we do every year, and that's one of the few places that we actually play it. And it's The Devil Went Down to Georgia. I have a version of that I've been playing for years. And over the years of playing it, we added a bunch of songs into it and made it a jam. In the original version, the devil wins, if you ask me. I'm sorry, but that little thing the devil does is pretty badass in Charles Daniels' version. But so in my version, I wanted to turn the tables. I wanted to kind of make the devil's part in the song like noticeably less awesome than Johnny's part. So we have this sweet version of that we like to do, and we actually recorded the whole thing. And I may tonight go in and start ripping some of that apart and try to, if I can get some of it, I might throw a little bit on the end of the episode here. But anyway, we the Rolls family, who I absolutely love these people. We met the first time we played at the Pilot House, which was, I think, 7 years ago, 6 or 7 years ago. And I had known their daughter, who was a mutual friend of one of my ex-girlfriends, and we didn't know each other really then, but obviously through the Pilot House and them seeing us a lot for these Blue Crab festivals, we became great friends. Anyway, I love these people to death, and they are awesome. And if they ask me to play a song, damn it, I'm going to do it. So I also have this Taylor Swift jam that I do, and I'm not ashamed to say it. Ryan Adams recorded Taylor Swift's 1989 album, which is fantastic, and you should listen to it. Ooh, that would have been a good one to put on the listen today. Anyway, we'll get to that later. So Ryan Adams recorded these Taylor Swift songs, and I do the Ryan Adams version of them, but I mix a few of them together. And it's a really cool jam, and they love it, and they always request it when they come to see us, and I can't say no to them because I just love them to death. I really do. And anyway, we did that jam, and we got to the end, and we did The Devil Went Down to Georgia jam. So we did The Devil Went Down to Georgia. We get to the about halfway through the song, and I pop a D string. I think it was a D. Yeah, I pop a string. Doesn't matter which one it was. Halfway through the song, I pop a string, and I'm in the middle of it. I just lean over to Adam, and I'm like, "Fuck it, let's just keep going." And you could probably hear me on the recorder say exactly that. And we go straight into the song for just for safety's sake. I'll tell you the song's lineup. We start off with "Devil Went Down to Georgia," We go into the Devil's part is Whole Lot of Love by Led Zeppelin. Then we go back into The Devil Went Down to Georgia, Fire on the Mountain, Run Boys Run, into Do You Feel Like We Do, into Dear Mr. Fantasy, into Who Are You by The Who, into Dream On by Aerosmith, into Come Together by the Beatles, back into Devil Went Down to Georgia. And then that's pretty much like we do pretty much not the entire songs. We just pretty much do teasers from each song. So this is a good, if we're into it, this is a 15-minute jam. And we're maybe 6 minutes in it when I pop my first string. So back to that point in the story. I just say, fuck it, let's keep going. So we did, and we did really well. And with the crowd, I mean, not musically, we did really well with the crowd. Like we had one of the greatest crowd responses that I can remember having there ever. And maybe it was just because I looked out in the crowd and I saw so many familiar faces, and I'm a glutton for comfort. And, wow, I've never said that before. A glutton for comfort. That is huge. Wow. That's so, where did that come from? I'm a glutton for comfort, and I looked out in the crowd and I felt comfort. I felt comfortable. And I just saw all these people who I love, and I knew that I was about to be done, and I didn't have anything else weighing on my mind. I have tomorrow off. All I have to do is play trivia. Maybe it was just a culmination of all of that. But I felt the best that I felt in a long time, standing in front of those people, playing with a 5-string guitar, and just I was just so excited with how it was going. And in that, I popped another string. So now I'm playing a 4-string guitar. And it's like, I'm missing 2 very important strings. And so now I'm just literally strumming at the very end, just nothing, like basically nothing. I'm muting all the strings, trying to keep strumming. And we end up finishing the song. We get one of the loudest encores we've ever gotten. We did 2 encores. We had to do 2 encores at this gig. We finished with the Taylor Swift song, and immediately The Devil Went Down to Georgia, and I've got 4 strings on the guitar, and I'm like, love you guys to death. Well, this is our favorite gig. Thank you so much for having us.